Now I'm starting to get pissed off. Now I'm starting to get angry, all right? Kind of sliding into the All-Star break. All right, fine. We need a little break, little reset here. All right. Tough weekend. We'll come out the other side. Do the Guardians stink? Yeah, seriously, I don't want to be this way, Ryan. Like, man, just give me something. Something. You cranked out, 11 hits? Tariq Skubal gave up a season high in hits, and you scored 2 runs? I need Austin Hedges on a suicide squeeze to score runs? I mean, even Carrasco, like, okay, fine. Carrasco, home runs, fine. I don't even know if a trade fixes anything right now. Like, right now, oh, man. Serenity now. It's been a bad month of baseball for the Guardians, all right? Did we get fooled? Did we get the wool pulled over our eyes? Did we think this team's better than they are? Like, dude, you're still in first place. Shut up, Matt. What are you talking about? Like, want to be frustrated with this team. I really don't. And I think there's still, you're in a good spot. I try to remind myself that those games just annoy me, Ryan. They just they drive me up a wall. And it's in part because I want to believe that the Guardians are an elite team, not just a good team. I want to believe that they're an elite team. And I think like a lot of fans, when that switch is flipped or when I jump over to that side, when I jump over to the side of they're elite, I don't want to go back. I don't want to take a step back and go, you know what, maybe they really aren't, or maybe they beat up on an easy schedule in the first half of the season. I don't want to go back. And I'll tell you this, I'm going to fight, and I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to hold this team to a high standard, higher than what they're playing right now. And all it's going to do is just bring me frustration. That's it. Watching that game yesterday, where again, you were able to get hits. You had the bases loaded, right? And just not scoring the runs. And I think it's hard when Carlos Carrasco is out there and he's choking things away early. That then puts pressure back on the offense. It's just like a bad storm. And then, oh, wait, yeah, you're facing Tariq Skubal, who you got after him a little bit. But he came back around as being one of the best pitchers and the front runner to win the Cy Young. Now you turn around tonight and you got to face a Jack Flaherty kind of guy that, what do you expect out of that? You're going to have the deficiency again tonight. With no offense to Xavier Curry, but you're facing Jack Flaherty. God, what I love in this team. I need to take a deep breath. We got a lot of Guardians we got to discuss this morning. Are you still all in? Are you still believing that this team is one of the best in baseball? We'll discuss that this morning. We got a lot of Guardians, too, about history, because we always love doing time up. We already sent it out this morning that they changed their name 3 years ago today. 3 years ago today, I sat at a press conference. I interviewed Paul Dolan. Excuse me. And they officially announced that they were going with the Guardians. How do you feel 3 years later? I think that's a big enough sample size of 2 full seasons, basically, of having it. How do you feel about that? We'll dive into that. We'll get ready to go for the trade deadline. Ryan got an interesting nugget from Jeff Passan this morning off of his article on ESPN talking about the Guardians are going to do football back. Yes! Yes! Veterans reporting in Berea. Will Amari Cooper be there? I reached out to Jack Delphin. Jack has a very important week, so he's not going to be able to join us this week. He's going to come on next week. But I wanted to ask him, what are they going to do with Amari Cooper? What is the best contract option for the Browns to offer to Amari Cooper? We'll get to that. Wild cards for every team as we enter training camp. We got some college football to get to. We'll get to our bracket of the best heist movie of all time. Basically got it filled out. But we have a couple spots open if you want to tweet those at us. We'll get to the grid. We'll get to timeout. We'll get to the morning update. All of it on a beautiful 2 for Tuesday right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. Appreciate you joining us. You can always follow at Matt Fontana Show, Twitter, X, Instagram, Twitch, and subscribe to our YouTube channel when you can, all across the board. I shouldn't let those games bother me as much as they do, right? Because, like I said, I have now had a flip on what I believe for the Cleveland Guardians. It's no longer, gee, look at us. We're in first place. This is great. Oh, my God, we're ahead of schedule. F that, man. You're in this thing. Get after it. Like, the approach at the plate has continued to frustrate. And I get it. It's Tariq freaking Skubal. Okay, he's very good. Jack Flaherty is very good tonight. What has happened to Stephen Kwan? He's still batting .340. I get it. But Ryan, has he not dropped 30 points since he came off the injured list?
Yeah, he was sitting at 96.
More than that, then. And now, like, Nate, like, it starts, you know, the devil and angel that's supposed to sit on your shoulder. I've got the devil, like, in my ear going, this Guardians team isn't very good, man. And they fooled you in the first half and don't really believe in what they are. And I don't want to do that. I want to root for my team. I believe they should win every game they play. That is what I think is bothering me about this team. Now, it's baseball, okay? The old adage used to be, you will win 60 games, you will lose 60 games. It's what you do with the other games that matter. The other 60 games in a 182-game season. That is usually how you divide that up. You're going to win 60. You're going to lose 60. It's what you do with the other ones. Does that math work out? Am I mathing right here?
It'd be so that'd be
40, 40, and 40. No.
There's 168 games in a season, right?
162. 162, not 82.
Yeah, 162.
All right, follow me on, I think it.
So it'd be 42 games if you're, because 60 plus 60.
All right, you're going to win 40. You're going to lose 40. It's what you do with the other 60.
About.
Yeah.
What do you do with the other 62?
You get my point.
Wait, no. It's if it's you
162
win,
games.
If it's you win 40 and lose 40, then it's what you do with the other 82.
That's probably what it is, right? 54. Yeah, 54 straight up. I'm flustered. I don't know what to tell you. Me and math, we don't go together. One of the more sobering days of my education was when I found out that I was in a math class with kids 2 years younger than me.
Wow.
I think I was a junior in whatever math it was, and the one kid sitting next to me was like, I'm a freshman. I'm like, wow, am I an idiot? Math was not my thing. Science was my thing. I was an honor science, but I was not good on the math. I expect them to compete in every game, and I'm going to ask them to win every game. And I know they try. I know they should be talented enough to beat teams. Like, if they were to struggle against the Phillies, okay, well, the Phillies are one of the World Series favorites. You should not be struggling against the Tigers. Now, what did I ask for the Tigers series? To win me 3 out of 4. Well, they can still very much do that. And you don't want to carry over what has happened. But that's the other problem. Now we're on this stretch where I think you're carrying stuff over from the Padres series, and the bats aren't showing up game after game after game. How you put a stop to that, or how you turn things, do you want to know who I'm looking at for that, Ryan? A guy that's never done that before, and that's Stephen Vogt. He is a rookie manager that has exceeded all of our expectations. I love Stephen Vogt. He's going to be your AL manager of the year. He deserves that credit. The job he has done is amazing, but now he's entering uncharted waters for him. And he can get on the phone and call Terry Francona, and he's got Carl Willis. I almost said Bruce Willis over there, diehard in our heist movies, by the way. He's going to ask Carl Willis, what do we do here? How do I navigate this? How do I wake it up a little bit? All you can do is do what? Change the lineups a little bit, maybe. The pitchers you have or the pitchers that you have. Something's telling me they're going to want to get Matthew Boyd up here as quickly as they can. You can only do with what you got. But he's now entering, I think, a crucial stretch of this season. I see it slipping away. I see this starting to slip away. Now, we asked this question weeks ago. If you thought the Guardians were going to go basically wire to wire, did you think that they were going to keep the lead in the AL Central the rest of the season? I want to give Ryan a shout out and credit, because, Ryan, what did you say? No.
Yeah.
You said no. You said eventually the Twins are going to come after us. Yeah. And looking where we're at right now. I was naive. I thought we'd have just a nice little keep a 5-game lead for the rest of the way. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy.
I think truly the question at this point for our first two for Tuesday, Matt, is honestly, at this point, do you still think the Guardians are going to win the AL Central?
Yeah, I like that. Go ahead and post it. It's a good barometer of where we're at. And again, it's more about the scuffling that I don't like. And the good teams find ways to put an end to that. And you're going to have bad streaks. Yeah, that Padres series, that was only the second series that the team had lost at home all year to this point. That's pretty damn good. We were making our hay at home. You had great crowds. You have people showing up, which is awesome. I guess I just thought that they'd roll over the Detroit Tigers, who again they're the thorn on our side now. Why, for some ungodly reason, we always struggle against Detroit, I don't know. Gio Urshela again sticking it to us with a couple RBIs yesterday. And I get it. You had Carlos Carrasco on the hill. That was a kind of a Carlos Carrasco start. He struggled early. I think he did find it again a little bit. And what was it? The third inning, he struck out the side outside of a walk. You're like, okay, maybe he can give us a little bit of length here. But the bats just didn't show up. You were not manufacturing any runs. And I'm getting frustrated. It doesn't mean, like, to answer our question, I still think they're going to win the Central. I guess maybe at this point more I'm hoping they're going to win the Central. I still think they're going to win the Central. I just maybe got to remind myself it's not going to be as easy as I thought. It's not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. There are just some things about it I don't like. Josh Naylor is a better hitter than what I've seen out of him right now. I frankly think even Jose is struggling by Jose standards at this point. And when you look at those guys, this lineup is not going anywhere if Juan Ramirez and Naylor are struggling. And that's kind of where we're at right now. That is kind of where we're at. I know Jose had a nice hit yesterday, but what did he finish yesterday? Hang on, let me pull that up. I know Juan finished 1 for 5. 1 for 5 yesterday. Jose went 2 for 5, fine. Naylor 1 for 5. Like,
what's Naylor down to, like 235?
239. 239 for Josh Naylor. And let me look this up. Somebody sent a tweet about this too. When's the last time he's hit a home run? I got this for you right now. Oh my God. He's hit 2 home runs in the month of July.
Yeah.
2 home runs in the month of July. He hasn't hit one since the 9th. That's not good. That's not good. And I was trying to look this up for the Guardians. I saw some of this yesterday. Just really, like, how bad this month has been. Here you go. Splits. You ready? In the month of July, team average, all right, for the season. April, you batted 241, 231 in May, 257 in June. You are now down to 225. Since the All-Star, well, it's only 4 games, but still 208 in the 4 games post-All-Star break. You hit 27 home runs in April. You hit 35 in May, 31 in June. You have 14. And we're a week out from finishing July. The home runs are down. Your average is down. Your slugging is actually up. Your on-base percentage is actually up. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong metric. They're down. This is the worst month of baseball the Guardians have had, very clearly, in the month of July. How are you going to turn this? It's almost like now I'm ready to set that aside. And I was hoping the All-Star break would be that reset. I'm ready to slam the reset button here. It's like an NCAA football when you're getting smoked and you just unplug your Xbox. Can we unplug the Guardians? Can we just unplug them for a minute? Get a quick reboot in? That's what I need out of this team. Now, the problem is I see them starting to realize that. And they're starting to go up there grinding the bat. They're starting to feel the squeeze. Can a trade, loosen that up? Like, at this point, I almost need that trade as that reboot. And what they can get, I don't know. We'll talk about Jeff Passan's article here in a minute. But do you feel that the pressure has ramped up to go make a trade because of how bad they've played? It's 2 schools of thought. Right. They could have played really well, and you still felt, hey, we got to go make a trade because we're really playing well. We just need one thing to put us over the top. Now, I think it's even more on Antonetti and Chernoff to make a trade because you're playing poorly. That's almost more important than if you were playing better. They've hit a bad stretch of baseball. I'm now begging. I was asking before. Now I'm begging them to go make some sort of trade. I still want a starting pitcher. Matthew Boyd will be here soon. I'm not putting all that. And I know everybody saw about James Shields yesterday. I got that. He got DFA'd from the Dodgers. They had to make some other moves. That doesn't do it for me. And you might say, well, Matt, what do you want to do? They're not getting Garrett Crochet. They might not even be able to get Jack Flaherty. You know, Andre, Rick, and Matt were talking about the broadcast last night about the Tigers. Why would they start selling off all their pieces? Yeah, they're in a rebuild, but you got to keep somebody. You've got to keep some of these players around for your rebuild. And maybe they say, you know what, Jack Flaherty's going to be 1-2 with Tariq Skubal for the next couple of years. Maybe he doesn't even become available. It's just frustrating right now with where this team is at. We flip over to Jeff Passan's article this morning, and he talked about his primer for the trade deadline and every single team. And he said these are the teams that he expects to go all in, either all in buying or all in selling coming up for the deadline. Dodgers, all in to get after it. They're getting Tyler Glasnow back. Kershaw will be back. Can they go get Luis Robert, Randy Arozarena, something like that? The Yankees going all in as they usually do. The White Sox going all the way out. Fetty, Pham, Kepich, all the rest of those guys gone. The Miami Marlins all the way out. They already dealt Luis Ariz. He's gone. The Angels all the way out. The Nationals all the way out. Then we go down to the Cleveland Guardians. And he writes, they're adding, but he doesn't see them being all in on adding. I don't like that. But here's the thing you sent out this morning, Ryan, that I find interesting from Jeff Passan. Guardians. Maybe Cleveland surprises the industry and acts like a team that's 19 games above 500. That's a shot.
When I read that,
that's a shot because they are. And he goes, maybe you need to start acting like it. I hope to never have to say that to my kid one day, but it's like, oh, you're 4. Maybe you should just start acting like you're 4. But maybe the Guardians should start acting like a team they're above 500 by 19 and make a push for AL supremacy. The Guardians find themselves in this place, though, because of their discipline. It's a feature, not a bug. They need starting pitching and should be able to land 1 or 2 arms to pair with Tanner Bybee at the top of the rotation. Possibly a bat to go with the big 3 of Kwan, Ramirez, and Naylor. But the Guardians aren't nearly offensive hungry as they've been in the past seasons. I agree with that. I still want a pitcher. With an excellent farm system and a controllable core, Cleveland believes this sort of success is sustainable. As much as this incarnation has earned the front office complimenting at a deadline, a big-ticket deadline move to simply add talent isn't in their DNA. Flip that.
Yeah, man.
Start acting like it. Start acting like you're in this thing. Go get somebody. And I know that when that happens, people will be sitting there. You know, the funny thing is, and I guess that's probably kind of where we're at in social media, they'd make a trade and they'd send away a guy that nobody had ever heard of. Like a person sending a tweet, oh my God, how could they get rid of Joey Cantillo? I'm like, have you ever even heard of Joey Cantillo before? Probably not. Now, I'm a big Joey Cantillo fan. But you know what I'm saying? People get so hung up on prospects that they've never even seen a single pitcher at bat that they've played. But it's a prospect. Oh, it's our 7th best prospect. Can't give that up. I will trust the baseball people in this. But as a fan of this team, I need them to shake this up a little bit. And it could go bad. I understand that. But I'm willing to make the moves to get after it. You don't find yourself in this position all the time. And the Guardians have been so great about holding off the rebuilds and being competitive and all that. Take advantage of it. You have put so much work into this team. It is littered with people that you made the right trade. You made the right signing. Cash it in. Because right now, it's not good enough. Right now, what I see from this team is not good enough. And things could flip. They could win their next 7 games. They could go on a 7-for-9 streak over the next week plus and maybe turn things around and get me feeling better. Right now, today, where I wake up, you got smoked by the Tigers. I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. Maybe that's what the team needs to do. Just get angry. I don't know. But that comes back again to how Stephen Vogt. This is going to be a big tell, man, on Stephen Vogt. He's done a great job. He's hitting turbulent waters now. How you handle that? What are you going to do? I hope for the best. I'm an optimist. I love this team. I love going. We're already looking at tickets for the next game to go. I want them to be in it. So our question is up at Matt Fontana Show. Drops a file there. Do you still think the Guardians are going to win the AL Central? Yes or no? Ryan, we're 70-30.
Yeah,
Yes.
still a lot of early optimism.
I like it. Hey, man, and that's the thing. They've got a lead. They're in this thing. I like it. It's just a bad stretch of baseball that we're going to have to turn aside. But I like it, and I do very much appreciate that people are still believing in this team, which I like to see. We got a lot of football I want to get to this morning, but this is interesting. We're doing a little preview of Time Hop coming up. That 3 years ago today, the Guardians officially announced their new name. They flipped from the Indians to the Guardians. The Spiders were a team, the Blues, all that other kind of stuff. And I asked people this morning, I got a lot of response from this morning. 3 years later, how do you feel about it? 3 years into the Guardians era of Cleveland baseball, do you still like the name? And I don't know, if you want to put that as our second 2 for Tuesday, we'll do 2 baseball. I kind of want to see the poll on that. Dude, 3 years in, do you still like the name change for the Guardians? Now, I am sympathetic to there are people that were never going to like it. They're always going to hate it. They grew up maybe even longer than probably longer than I did, rooting for the Cleveland Indians. And I grew up an Indians fan. I remember going to games in the 90s. Electric, right? But I also accepted that was just not going to be the name of the team anymore. And of all the other options that were out there, I kind of talked myself into the Guardians. I still sit here today. I hate the logo. I hate the logo. That G logo, it just doesn't do it for me. Now, I have optimism when I see like the City Connect uniforms. Like those are sharp. Those are really cool. So like a minor rebrand maybe or something along those lines. But the name itself, I actually think I feel worse about it. Like if I really had to pick, I talked myself into it so much 3 years ago, just understanding that the name was going to change. 3 years later, it kind of still seems like a dud. Does it seem cool? And I'm not saying that you should search for cool names or anything like that, but I don't think it does it for me anymore.
I don't mind it. I know a lot of people aren't fans of it.
But it's
I like it, and I didn't mind it when it first happened, and I think it's even grown further on me. I know a lot of people hate it. I like it, and I know this isn't a popular opinion. I like it more than the Spiders. I wasn't a fan of Spiders.
I was kind of like...
I'm also an arachnophobe.
Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. By the way, does everybody just know that's the actual name for fear of spiders just because of the movie, Arachnophobia? Like, do you know... Well, I guess everybody knows what claustrophobia...
But they're classified as arachnids.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, do you know what the actual name of fear of heights is? I have no idea.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like hydrophobia, I'm assuming, is the fear of water, but I'm just guessing. But I know what arachnophobia is. I know what claustrophobia is.
Isn't clowns chlorophobia?
God, fear of clowns. I'm Googling that right now. Do you have a fear of clowns?
Not really.
I know people. Chlorophobia. Chlorophobia. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Well done. So you're right. Chlorophobia. Fear of clowns. Fear of water. That's just got to be hydrophobia, right? Aquaphobia.
Aquaphobia.
See, aquaphobia. Fear of water. What's the fear of flying? Aerophobia or aviophobia?
That makes sense.
Is fear, right. But I'm saying arachnophobia, everybody knows what it is probably because
What's the fear of your team not making a trade before the deadline?
Guardian phobia.
Yeah.
Guardian phobia. Actually, it'd just be guard phobia probably. You have to shorten it just a little bit.
Dolophobia?
Oh, you're probably right. Damn. That's the fear of not spending money. That's what that is. All right, stop that. The Spiders had the history. The Guardians with the bridge, okay, I kind of get it. It's kind of waned on me a little bit. So I sent this out this morning. I'm just going to rip through a bunch of responses here. St. Pete Buckeye, better. I hated it for a while. Can't change it, so we got to appreciate it, embrace it, and stop being a baby. Mike says, I feel worse. I tried to embrace it, but in the end, they're still just going to be the Indians to me. QCT on Twitter, it's still just a mediocre name. Adam says you would have preferred the Spiders over the Guardians. Nameless Gray Face on Twitter. I feel worse about it. I'm fine with moving on from the Indians, but there were a lot of better options with ties to the city. That's kind of maybe exactly how I feel, too. Cleveland fans stuck in Philly, it's fine. I don't care. Just do a throwback from time to time. We'll see. Franchise enterprise, don't miss the old name, just want a winner. Tom, I grew up with the Indians, just grateful the team is still here. I just remember the years we didn't have football. And that was like, obviously, it was before your time, right? That'll never happen again. That was just an absolute perfect storm. The Browns were gone. You had a brand new stadium, and you had a Hall of Fame lineup, man. And you were just beating everybody, which was fun. Shane says, I'm okay with the new name. However, they should have never changed from the Indians. The whole thing is a sham. Scoop. Guardians is clunky and about as generic as you can get. That's another kind of feeling that I think I have about it now.
What was it just between Guardians and Spiders?
That was pretty much
I don't really remember what else was floating around.
Like the Blues, the
Blues?
people really wanted something with Forest City because apparently we're the Forest City. The Naps, like the Cleveland Naps, were a team way back in the day because they all tried to just pull from the old names. But I do feel like it really came down to the Spiders and the Guardians. I feel like those were the two. And I'm with you. Like, I don't know if Spiders would make me feel any better. I just don't think the Guardians are a cool name. I really don't. And
people, like you said, a lot of people, and the logo's right behind you. People, I don't mind it.
Which one?
The one right behind you.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
That one's
I don't
fine,
mind that.
But that's like, didn't Cody just draw that?
Oh, is that his, like, own?
I think that's his.
Oh.
Like, I'd rather have that.
Oh, okay. That's why I was like, I like that.
You know the Guardians logo I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Can you pull it up on the screen real quick? You know it's the winged G. It looks like SpongeBob from that superhero episode where he goes, "You want to see me do it again?" He runs up the hill and back. That's what that looks
This
like.
one?
Yes, that one.
See, I like that.
Oh, I hate that one,
I
Brian.
like it. I know, but trust me, I know I'm in the minority on that. I like it.
I hate that one.
I like
Pull it up for the people. I want them to see. I mean, they all know the one I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
I hate it.
I like it.
Here's the weird thing about it. Somebody said this, and it sticks with me forever. It looks like somebody's sitting on the pot. Somebody's sitting on a toilet. And I can't not see that off of that logo.
I like it.
Change the logo, then maybe I'll be talking about it.
What don't you like about it?
The G and the wings.
I like the wings.
And the baseball. Really?
We have a helmet as Browns.
Baseball. There's history to that. I'm entrenched in that. The C is what I want.
Which one?
Go back up. You see the blue C right there. Right there. That. Do that. Get rid of the other G crap. Go in on all. I actually really like that. That's fine. It's hard because you got to differentiate from Cincinnati a little bit. Go with that.
The Cincinnati C, that just looks like the Bears logo.
It does look like the Bears logo. You're right. It does. But I wanted to just kind of get the pulse of some people here. But
you knew people weren't going to like it.
Well, no, the thing is that you're taking... Okay, the other thing, because actually it was funny that when I found that tweet to retweet it for Time Hop, there were a lot of people that were in my mentions.
People are so funny, though, how much they hate it.
That's what I'm saying. They hated it so much that day, and they just now they're not open to change. And I get it. Chief Wahoo's never come back. Of all the things that were offensive about the Indians, Chief Wahoo might have been number one. So that's why he's done. That's over. You ain't getting that back ever. But the people the day of that were, oh my God, they're taking my history away. That's one thing I never jumped on. That was one thing. The history is still here. The team is still here. And I said that, and I tweeted this day 3 years ago when they changed the name. They were not going to show up at your door and go into your closet and take away all of your stuff and go, you can't have this anymore. You're not allowed to own that hat anymore. I still have Chief Wahoo stuff.
Yeah.
They're not coming to my house on a raid to steal my stuff.
Yeah, I have like, there's still people, like, I have a buddy, one of my best friends, he refuses to call them the Guardians every time it's Indians. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, you want to go to the Guardians game on X day? And he'll be like, who? And I'm like,
okay, that's a little much.
I'm like,
right. But how many people still say, I still call it the Jake? I have a t-shirt that says, I still call it the Jake. Do you still call it Gunner? Call it whatever you want. They didn't have a choice. They really did not have a choice. They had to do it. Whether that's right or wrong, whether you're angry at MLB, whether you're angry at the Dolans for giving it, they didn't have a choice. They had to do what they did. I'm more about what they chose. And 3 years on the mark of them changing it, it's kind of weighing on me a little bit. What are they going to do? Flip again? I think we're in now. Ain't no going back from that. You got the Guardians. It is what it is. So our Twitter questions are up this morning at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there and vote on our Twitter questions. First up, we got to see them. I got to find them here. I retweeted them both. Quick update. Do you still think the Guardians are going to win the AL Central? Yes or no? That's about 66-35 yes. And 3 years in, do you like the name change from the Indians to the Guardians? That one is 75-25.
Honestly,
people
it's
say now.
Even that, not that that's close, but I'm surprised.
You're shocked it's even that close? Yeah. I mean, I think if they would change the logo, then maybe I'd start feeling a little bit better about it.
I don't think it's that bad.
I know. We just differ on that.
But trust me, I know I'm in the minority.
Oh, no, I get it. And I just kind of stare at it. When I see it, it kind of is what it is, but we move on. To a team without a logo, because we just got a helmet, and the Cleveland Browns back at it out in Berea. I assume Amari Cooper will not be there. Now, I'm not saying today is the day, but, I just keep wondering if we're going to get news on Amari Cooper today. So I want to shout out Jack Duffin. Jack had a very important life event in a positive way, so he's unavailable this week, but we'll talk to him next week. So I reached out to Jack because I just wanted to ask him, what do you think they're going to do with Amari Cooper? And Jack even sent a tweet about this morning. And he said, I believe Amari Cooper will be at training camp. As we talked about this, a $50,000 a day fine and a fine for him of $1 million for every preseason game he misses. That is actually, you get fined 1/18 of your base salary for every preseason game that you miss. So for Amari, that'd be like $1.1 million for preseason. He said players tend to hold in where they show up, they're there, they can't be fined, but they're not going to go practice. And lo and behold, what do we got? Hassan Reddick news this morning, and Jordan Love's not showing up for the Packers. It's not new. This is something that is very much on the forefront. By the way, did you see what Mike Brown said about Jamar Chase yesterday?
Was it something along the lines of it's not a priority right now?
He said, we're not doing it now. What a poorly run organization, man. What are you doing? We'll get to that in a second. I want to talk Amari Cooper for a second. I thought about it this morning. What's the best deal to get Amari Cooper? And I asked Jack that this morning. And he said he expects Cooper to get something around $22.5 million, around what Mike Evans got. The issue is, does he get any money guaranteed in 2026? And that is kind of the question that I have. Would you offer Amari Cooper a 1-year deal just for this year to get him some money? Or would you be willing to sign him up for a 3-year deal with guaranteed money in 2026? Would you be willing to go for longevity and obviously more money? You're going to have to add the more money there on the end of it. Would you be willing to sign Amari Cooper to a 3-year deal? That's probably what he wants. And I would imagine that would get it done pretty quick. If he sat down with Andrew Berry and Berry said, yeah, we'll offer you a 3-year deal right here. Here's a 3-year deal. We'll get you some money into 2026. We'll make the money work on our end with the void years and all that other kind of crap. Here's a little pay boost. Okay, let's say it's 22.5 per year. You know me and math. $67 million. What about, I'm just spitballing here. What if you offered him 3 years, $65 million, shave me a little bit there, with $50 million guaranteed? So he is in essence on a 2-year, $25 million deal, potential out before you get to 2026. Would you do that deal?
10 out of 10 times.
Yeah. If you're Amari Cooper, if you're the Browns, both sides, you think yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you're dude, yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna throw that out.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw that out.
Because it's got to work both ways. If you're the Browns, I think that's a good enough deal for them to give him. And also, he still gets to stay on a competitive football team, which I think is a big priority of his. And then you're also getting $50 million guaranteed the next in the 2-year span. That's plenty of money. He's got to realize his age. as much as I don't believe it's that big of a factor, I think it's a little overblown. It's still a factor that teams consider.
And then put like an out after the second year. Rip up the contract for 2024. 3 years, 65. Give him 40 or 50 million guaranteed. Out after the second year, rip up the contract for 2024. This takes over. Would you do that? Would you do that as Cooper or the Browns? I just want to see how people think about that. Like, is that too much? You think that's too much?
No.
You think it's enough for Amari Cooper? You think that's enough? Like 22 and a half around that Mike Evans, your top 10 paid. That's where you're at. Yeah. I mean, I just...
It just depends. Does he want it? Does he want to be on a competitive football team, or does he want to just go somewhere and get a bag and go 4-12?
Can't have your cake and eat it too, right? Where else would he? And that's the other thing too. The battle is, where would he go at this point? Find me, other than the Bengals, which we'll talk about in a second. Find me an elite team other than the Buffalo Bills that does not have their elite wide receivers paid up. Eagles are good. Chiefs, their versions of elites are Travis Kelce, whatever. Dolphins got all their guys. Bengals don't. Ravens, again, for their elite receivers are under. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's really nobody else that would be out there really clamoring for his services, so to speak. Yeah, and you're right. He could go steal some money from some lowly team. Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown is paid. Like, there is that element of what does Amari Cooper, where does he see himself in 2 years? That's exactly what you're getting at, right? Where does he see himself? Cash in a bag on some lowly crap team, or is he still competing and maybe making a little bit less than what he should? I'm just going to say 3 years, $65 million, 40 or 50 or 40, 45 or 50 guaranteed. Out after the second year, rip up the contract. This takes over. Would you do that? Would you do that? Ryan says without a doubt, 10 out of 10, he'd do that. That would be something that he would offer. And again, I would hope that Amari Cooper could see that and believe that and want it to be exactly what kind of makes sense for them. We got to talk about the Bengals, man. So this came out yesterday from Adam Schefter, where he sat down and he talked to Mike Brown, who is Paul Brown's son. He's the president of the Bengals. And the question was about their star receiver, Jamar Chase. He said, quote, on the potential contract extension for Chase, quote, it's not so likely this is the good time to negotiate. The offseason is better for that. We're going to try to keep focused on the football part. I'm not going to rule anything out, but I will tell you the die has probably cast. What? What do you mean? And I could see this blowing up in the Bengals' face, right? If Jamar Chase goes out there and has like a record-breaking season, he's going to come back to the Bengals and want even more money. I would imagine what the Bengals are trying to hold off on is, dude, every receiver got paid this offseason. And that money got inflated because all these guys got all these other deals. Maybe they're waiting to see, like, if more time, maybe this will slow down a little bit. I don't buy that. The longer you wait in sports to pay somebody, it's almost always more expensive. It is always expensive when you are the last to sign. Because now Jamar Chase can go, Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, all these other guys got deals, and he goes, I'm in this class. You can debate and bitch about if I'm better than these guys or not, but there is no question I'm in that class, and I will be deserving somewhere near that. And especially if he goes out there and smokes it this season. And I would think that that's a big part of what's going to happen. If you believe Joe Burrow is going to be healthy the whole year, they don't have Tyler Boyd. It is basically going to be on Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to a point. Bro, he's going to get targeted 12 times a game, probably. He's going to inflate that on up. Bengals, please screw this up. Do it. Please screw this up. Go ahead. Get him good and angry and get him out of town.
But Jamar's asking for more than Justin Jefferson because he wants to be the highest paid receiver in the league. So it's like if you're Mike Brown, you're either, okay, he goes out this next year, he has his best season ever, then he's going to be like, what did I tell you? Now it's going to cost you more. Or maybe they're banking on, okay, as maybe it just, for his standards, a little bit less of like this monster season, and then he forces Jamar to take that deal that's a little less than Justin
it's cutting your
Jefferson.
nose off to spite your face because the Bengals are a primed Super Bowl team. For them to save some money, he would have to not be good, and I would assume the Bengals would not be very good.
If they truly believe they are.
Then they'll just be screwed up and then be in rebuild mode in 2 years. I'm all for it.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
trust me, yeah.
Thin this on out, man. Go ahead and thin the AFC North out. I don't mind saying that in the least. Go ahead. Screw this all up. Do it. I think they screwed up the T. Higgins thing, to be honest with you. Just put him in better off paying him the money. And I get that they don't have necessarily the ownership that the Haslams do or the money that's behind it where they can make some of these deals where they get the cash up ahead and then they have a GM that kind of moves it around and all that kind of stuff. Go ahead and screw it up. But the fact that he goes, this season, I get it. What he's saying is training camp is here. So we don't want to focus on that anymore.
And correct me if I'm
What do
wrong.
you mean?
Correct me
Like-
if I'm wrong. Next year, they could just pick up his 5th-year option? Or would that have been this year?
I think they already had to pick it up.
Did they already have to? What year was he drafted? Was it? It was 2020, right? No, it was the year after Burrow was drafted, right?
He was drafted. He's only 24, which is crazy. He was drafted in 2021.
Yeah, because Burrow was 2020.
So they already picked up his 5th-year option. So he's under contract for this year and next year already.
And then they could just go franchise tag him.
Yeah, but the other thing is you're just pissing him off.
Well, yeah.
You're just going to piss him off.
But at that point, I mean, there's like, yeah.
I think that's a good case study in like Brandon Ayuk. And Ayuk is not on the same level as Jamar Chase,
yeah.
but he's in the same thing. He goes, I want out of here. He's playing on his 5th-year option coming up, and he goes, get me out of here. And the 49ers keep saying no.
Yeah, and it's like if Joe Burrow gets hurt again next year, does it start creeping into their heads and their organization that maybe Joe Burrow isn't like quote unquote elite? And if you don't have that elite quarterback, you're not paying the bag to that receiver.
Sure.
I mean, I know the Vikings did that, but they must
see the Vikings. I feel like are in a much different place than the Bengals, where the Vikings are just a quarterback away, and they're just going to bank on we're going to keep everybody together until we find that quarterback. And if it's not J.J. McCarthy this year, then we'll throw a bag at Dak Prescott. Or, I was listening to Adam Schefter this morning. He was out on Sportsman like an ESPN. He thinks Dak Prescott's going to get near $60 million a year.
Are the Vikings a quarterback away, though?
I think they are.
I don't know.
I like that offense, man. Defense has some players. They're aging a little bit over there, but I think they could. Where the Bengals are a flip, I think they only have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. I don't think letting Joe Mixon leave was the right idea. That offensive line still has some problems, and Trey Hendrickson wants traded. That quieted down all of a sudden, by the way, on that defensive side of things. We got to talk to our Cincy guys. We got to do a little crosstalk here, a little cross training camp show or something like that.
Yeah,
let's get him on and talk a bunch of crap to him or something like that. But he comes out and he goes, the die has been cast that we're not going to get a deal done with Jamar Chase before this season. I think that's a giant mistake. That's a giant mistake. And I'm not a Cincinnati fan in the least. I hope it blows up in their face.
You know my thoughts on the
I hope they blow it up in their face, man. I think it's a giant mistake. When you got a star player like that, you got to get him paid. You got to keep him happy, man. That's what they got to do. But that was an interesting note. And again, across the league with almost every team reporting now. I think a couple are reporting tomorrow. But the Browns are in action today. So they're in Berea. Shout out to Daryl Ryder. I want to get this from Daryl. So they're showing up today. Then veterans report for training camp this morning. Team will hold a light workout tomorrow, and then they're on their way to West Virginia. And they have their first Greenbrier practice on Thursday. Dude, it's back, man. Let's go. God, I appreciate the Greenbrier. I know it's an important thing for them. But that's pretty awesome. Like, it's back. We're ready to go. Also, I didn't see this. Daryl retweeted the new locker room or the new weight room for the Browns. I saw the structure outside. They moved everything. Dude, it looks nice, man. Browns spare no expense, man. Whatever that team needs, they finally opened up their whole. I can't tell you how mad COVID screwed up the Browns facility. They had to move the entire weight room out to a 70-yard field, taking up that space, and then they had to do a 90-man practice sometimes on a 50-yard field inside. So they got the new weight room rocking, which looks great out there. Football is back. A lot to talk about there. Want to flip over to a couple other things. The one challenge facing every team in the AFC from NFL.com this morning. I'll give you one guess what the challenge is for the Cleveland Browns. I think every list I do that Deshaun Watson is just the easy pick and answer, then we're just not going to do it, but we'll do it anyway.
Yeah, that's so annoying.
Biggest challenge is helping Deshaun Watson. I go over to PFN this morning.
Or him helping us.
That'd be nice too. PFN's biggest training camp wild card, Deshaun Watson. Is he a wild card? No, he's not. Browns have assembled an impressive roster that reached the playoffs despite different quarterbacks. The Watson narrative is the most important thing, but it's like there's nothing we do for another month.
That's what I'm saying.
So we actually get to some football. It's just this drug out narrative. But they say, so back to the NFL.com article about the challenge for the Browns. They signed Watson to the record deal. Did you know that? I did. We're still wondering if he'll ever get back to the Texans level. His 12 starts not good. Browns showed last season that defense can carry the load. Got it. That's where we're at. We all know what it is. Rest of the AFC, biggest challenge for the Bengals, keeping Joe Burrow healthy. Biggest challenge for the Baltimore Ravens, getting the defense into good shape for the Ravens, and then the biggest thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers going into training camp. Let me scroll down here for a second. Let me find Pittsburgh. Determining an offensive identity for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got to start by naming your quarterback. I'm assuming it's going to be Russell Wilson, but those are around the league around the AFC North as far as the number one challenge facing all the Cleveland Browns and the rest of the AFC. Final thing I wanted to get to, CBS Sports went through their Big Ten preview with their 18 teams. Somebody sent this out. It was such a good point. We need to start kicking some people out of the Big Ten. And I know football dominates, and it kind of bothers me that it does, right? Because, like, I don't know, give me a really crappy team in the Big Ten, Ryan.
Rutgers. Well, honestly, they could be a lot worse than Rutgers.
Right. Illinois, right?
Sure.
Just say Illinois.
Sure.
They can show up in basketball from time to time. They have a decent wrestling program. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's like, when you talk about, like, kicking teams out, it's not that easy. And you've got this super conference now. So CBS Sports went through from Cody Nagel, and they ranked skill players, quarterback, offensive line, D-line, linebackers, defensive backs, and coaches across the Big Ten. Here's the interesting thing on how it laid out for basically all of these teams. There's only 3 that's worth a damn. Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State. The rankings. Quarterback goes Oregon 1. Dylan Gabriel, right? He's there. Number 2, Penn State with Drew Aller. Number 3, Will Howard. Skill players. They go Oregon 1. Ohio State 2. Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Ibuka, Judkins, Travion Henderson. Don't know about that. Offensive line, Oregon 1, Ohio State 2. Defensive line, Ohio State number 1, Oregon number 4. Linebackers, Ohio State 3, Oregon 5. Defensive backs, Ohio State 1, Oregon 2. And the final ranking, head coach. They put Ryan Day as the number 1 head coach in the Big Ten over Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks. And again, Franklin was 4, offensive line, D-line was 3 for Penn State. Basically, how these rankings, and again, they're subjective, they're one person's opinion. They should come down to 3 teams. They should come down to Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State. The only question is going to be, do you get 3 teams into the college football playoff? I think you should. And I'm at the point now that I'm ready for the NCAA just to make this announcement. You get 3 Big Ten teams, you get 3 SEC teams, and give me 3 Big 12 teams. Everybody else got to fight it out.
What about the MAC?
Sorry. The ACC, people be bitching about that. I think they're going to get 3 in. Now, Penn State are just choke artists.
Mrs., do we get 1 MAC team in the playoff?
Never.
No?
No.
What if like
No.
Toledo's like 12-1?
Yeah, that's the thing. They'd have to go undefeated, but the problem is then they have to beat somebody big in a non-conference game.
Sure,
They'd have to beat an SEC team. And I'm talking about a legit SEC team or a legit Big Ten team. And how, like, that's, you schedule these games 4 or 5 years down the road. And I know sometimes you always, they jump and they cancel and all that other kind of crap with all the realignment. You got to have the perfect storm. Never going to happen. It sucks. I've told you the model. It's the Chip Kelly model. Do a Power 5 and a Group of 5. Then the MAC can go compete for the Group of 5 national championship. Let them do that. There's nothing wrong with that. You can keep the sanctity of all these different conferences. You can keep all your different TV deals. But Ohio State's going to play for a different national championship than Maryland's going to. And you could flip them every year. Do relegation, bump somebody up, take somebody down, move it all around. That's the best way to handle this, in my opinion. And it'll get even closer when eventually they go to 16 teams. Be just drunk on the playoffs. But I just thought it was interesting to see that, if you wanted to slice up these rankings and you got to put maybe more importance on some things, they're saying Oregon's the better team than Ohio State in the Big Ten this year from CBS Sports this morning. And I think it obviously will come down to those two. I'm an Ohio State fan, so I'm going to always lean Ohio State, And the fact that they went all in with the NIL, with the fact they got all these guys in here that they did, this has got to be the year. And I'm a Ryan Day fan. I'm not quite an apologist, but I know where he's at. He's got to go win a national championship. What? He's been to 2, right? No. He's been to 1.
They got crushed by Bama.
And then was it the Clemson? The Georgia game. That was the true national championship. We lost to him by 1, right?
Yeah, Ruggles missed the field goal.
Right, that's right.
Right as the ball dropped.
That's right. So I get that people are on Ryan Day. He's got to win a national championship this year. And is the door not wide open?
Yeah.
Do you not see this path where preseason rankings, Ohio State should be no worse than 3? Georgia 1. You certainly know Michigan. Again, you would think repeat national championship. That ain't happening. I'm going to say Georgia, then either Ohio State or Oregon. I think that's how the top 3 has got to go. I think Bama's going to suck this year. Somebody else will pick up some slack.
What about Texas?
In the SEC. Texas will be there, certainly. Yeah. There's your 4. You're right. There's your 4. Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, and Georgia. Mix them up however you want to go. But that's it. And the fact that Oregon is in the conference with you, I think, does help.
Because if you for Bama?
Nah, man, I ain't trusting. And I know Kalen DeBoer, who's got that insane winning percentage. I saw something about Kalen DeBoer. He's the new head coach there, obviously. Let me see something here real quick. That's it. In his career, he is 104-12.
Well, what's Ryan Day? He's probably better than that.
I don't think he's got that many games.
I mean, percentage-wise.
58 or 56-8.
Oh, so no.
56-8. 56-8. Kalen, that's what. Kalen, and again, he was at Sioux Falls where he went 67-3.
Yeah.
Winning NIL championships. Fresno State, he went 12-6, and he went 25-3 in 2 years at Washington. I get it. It's more about, to me, the mass exodus that Alabama had pretty much. And obviously we're really happy to have Caleb Downs up here now. That's kind of my thing on Bama. So I'm not really a big believer in Bama. But I thought it was interesting from CBS Sports that it is pretty far and away that it's Ohio State and Oregon, and that's where it is. A lot of things on the Guardians, man, this morning. So we did this earlier. That 3 years ago today, the Guardians announced their new name. How do you feel about it? Chad Morrison, it's the worst name and logo there is in professional sports. Caleb says he loves it. David tweets, it didn't bother me then, it doesn't bother me now. The team is still in Cleveland, and that's all that matters. A dude called Parker. I feel neutral about it. I don't mind it, but I don't also like it, and I don't hate it. It'll always be awkward considering the 100-year history of the previous name. In my opinion, I would have gone with Spiders, but to each their own. Johnny says he feels worse about it. David says, I still hate it. It was a candy-ass... the most makes me think of The Rock. It was a candy-ass political response. Dude, there's nothing they could do about it. My anger never was about changing the name. It's about the name that they picked. They had to change the name. I'm not fighting that anymore. There was nothing they could do about it. Mannon Jr. says, I still hate it. Still hate it. A lot of people, man. What's our poll at?
75-25 about.
People still don't like it.
Yeah.
Would you say 3 years would be the time that they would Like, this isn't like 6 months in. You know what I'm saying? Like 3 years, I think, is a good barometer. Now, for the people that they've been successful, kind of. Like, this is their best year, but it's not like they made the playoffs year before last. God, was that Oscar Gonzalez game? You remember that?
Yeah, the Yankees.
Extra innings? Yeah. Yeah. Good times. I mean, again, you're looking at that standpoint. In the 3 years that you've had the name change, you made the playoffs, and you were the best team in the AL at the All-Star break. Like, you've had success to go with it, so that shouldn't have necessarily soured on it, but people are going to always have that axe to grind. I get it. And they're upset by it. They're always going to hate it. Some people are coming around. I'm actually shocked that I feel a little bit, I was just wondering how like about this time, and I got to tell you, I think it's gone a little lower for me. It's gone a little bit. It's not that I don't hate it. I want my team here in Cleveland. That's all I want. I still root for them hard. I watch every single night. We'll get to our bets last night. I did hit a nice little parlay last night. I hate when people do that. Like, oh, hey, look what I did. But just for the essence of the show. I think for tonight, remind me, I don't think we got to make a pick on the game. As far as like win or loser, I'm thinking maybe the under tonight, though. They put up all those runs. They've been struggling. They've been scuffling offense. What do we got for the over-under tonight? Stand by.
Guards put up 3 runs in the last 3
I
games.
know. All right, here we go. 8.5. Kind of like the under.
I do too.
Guardians are a favorite tonight. Minus 140 favorite. They really feel like the Guardians are going to win tonight with Xavier Curry on the hill. I think Gio Urshela gets a hit tonight. Remind me of that one, too. He just smokes us. All right, we'll get to our bets for the Guardians a little bit later. They got to turn things around about the Tigers tonight. Browns have reported Amari Cooper. I put out the contract. Want to see how people feel about it. I threw that out there. We got plenty coming up with the morning update. We'll get to Time Hop as well. And don't forget about our bracket for the best heist movie of all time. What do we got? 1 spot open. I think we got about 15 of the 16 filled in. And we have an option for the 16th. I just want to see if
we technically have all filled, but like we can change it.
We'll change it out. So if you have the best heist movie, send it our way. YouTube comments at Matt Fontana Show on YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, and Twitch. We'll get those coming up. I think I got to mute Deadpool Wolverine stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm getting spoiled.
Yep.
And I don't know when I'm going to be able to go see it.
If I don't watch trailers.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds amazing. It sounds really awesome.
Did you see what Feige said about it?
No.
He said, like, so if Infinity War was to change the way the Marvel Universe is, if Infinity War was a 9 out of 10 and Endgame was a 10 out of 10,
right?
Deadpool and Wolverine is an 8 out of 10.
Wow.
That's what he said.
I mean, the other thing is, and I'm not going to do it here. I'm not going to spoil. I've already seen half the fucking cameos.
Oh, see, I haven't seen anything.
Oh, keep it that way, man. It's so bad.
But here's the thing, like, I want to go see it. I want to go see it, but I'm so checked out on Marvel. I haven't watched anything after anything after Endgame, and I don't really want to.
You and I are the same way. I think this is one that you can just dive into and not have to worry about anything else. I didn't see the Eternals. I didn't see Ant-Man. I haven't watched any of the television shows. I'm assuming this Deadpool is one that I can just jump into. Did you see Deadpool 2?
Yeah, I barely remember.
Yeah, so I think with Cable and Josh Brolin and all that. Yeah. So I mean, I think we could dive right back into this. But it's just everywhere, man. Because they had their premiere last night, so everybody's talking about it. But I think I gotta mute something here, man.
You do way too much, dude. Like, I'm not watching 10 episodes of, like, what's her name, Miss Marvel.
Right.
Like, it's just way too much.
See, now I think it's just about your side of things, because anything Batman, I'm in. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
yeah,
they try to cultivate that, but even Batman, all I have is 2 series coming up. One's animated, it has nothing to do with Reeves. And then, of course, when the Penguin comes out, I'm in on that. So you try to cultivate, for lack of a better term, a cult. You try to cultivate where people are going to come in, they're going to watch and consume. It was always going to jump the shark, which sucked. You just got to be happy for what it was and for the run that it had. But if Deadpool and Wolverine is going to really flip this thing around, if you want to stay involved, then you got to go see it. Because if they're really going to turn this all around, do something else, then you're going to have to see it. All right, plenty coming up. I think I put it in the morning update if you don't mind the 18 game thing. They're pushing hard, man. It sounds like this is going to get done. So we'll discuss that coming up. Ryan's got all the other stories. Morning update. Appreciate you joining us here on a Tuesday. Ryan Tyler, Matt Fontana, Matt Fontana Show, Twitter, X, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. Check it out. Back right after this.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out? It's social media.
Oh.
It's just that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. And you saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky
$18 games in our future. It was always going to happen. Now we got some big discussion on the NFL side of things. We'll discuss it. Welcome on back. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. It's all there for. We got to stream a little NCAA.
Yes, we do.
You got the PlayStation. I don't have anything. I'm
do.
poor. So you let me know. Maybe not. Oh, can we make the announcement of where we're going to be at on Thursday?
I mean, yeah, it's 2 days away, so I don't see why not.
I got to get the official name for it. Can we say it?
Yeah.
Sure. Folks, we are going to be at the National Sports Collectors Convention, IX Center, on Thursday. That's right. We'll be live from the IX Center for the 44th National Sports Collectors Convention at the IX Center. We just did that, what was it, last week. We ran through that list, like Dan Marino. I mean, the insane amount of people that are going to be there. Chipper Jones, Omar Bartolo Colon, Floyd Mayweather, Johnny Bench, Ricky Henderson, Larry Zonka. Dude, it's going to be nuts. Carlos Baerga, Wade Boggs, Roger Clemens, Terry Francona, Corey Kluber.
Terry Francona.
Yeah, Tito's coming back, man. Mariano Rivera, Corey Snyder of Cleveland Indians fame and history. Who else, man? Oh, football here? Hang on, that's just baseball. Here we go, football. Mel Blount, Dick Ambrose, Judge Dick Ambrose. You know he became a judge after he got done playing for the Browns? Dick Ambrose, yeah. Hanford Dixon, friend. Dan Fouts, Doug Flutie, Alan Faneca, Eddie George, Arch Griffin, Bob Golick, Michael Irvin, Bo Jackson, Calvin Johnson, Cardale Jones, Ray Lewis, Johnny Manziel, Dan Marino, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders?
Yeah. Yeah. What day is he coming? Find
All
out.
these guys collectors?
Bruce Smith. Oh, no, they're there to sign autographs. Yeah. No, this is the
Who
autograph.
the hell's getting Bernie Sanders' autograph?
Bernie Sanders? I said Barry Sanders.
You said Bernie.
I said Barry.
That's why I said Bernie
Why would I
Sanders?
say Bernie Sanders?
That's why hence my shock.
Barry Sanders.
I swear you said Bernie Sanders.
I think you heard me say Bernie.
then I said
you
Bernie
said Bernie.
Sanders
Then
and-
I said Bernie. Is what I think it was. I guess we can just go back on the tape and look at it and tell you what it was. They'll all be there, folks. We're going to be there Thursday. It's going to be really exciting. You're going to want to watch because literally they're all going to be in the building. Somebody's going to stop by, grab somebody. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll see you there on Thursday. Get your tickets, nsccshow.com. That is nsccshow.com. Get your tickets. We'll be there Thursday. Going to be a lot of fun. So we got it there for you. Oh, you can mail stuff in too if you want. Oh, the deadline's passed. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So if you want to mail something in. So we'll see you there. Tickets are available. Looking for something to do for the kids for the weekend? Come on down. We'll see you there. nsccshow.com for your tickets. We'll see you at the card show on Thursday. Ryan's got the stories. Please take it away.
All right, well, the Guardians' post-All-Star struggles continue. They dropped 3 straight last night. They fall to the Tigers 8-2. They look to end the losing streak tonight. First pitch, 6:40. Xavier Curry on the mound for the Guards.
Let's go. We need a win. We need a win bad. I think they'll get it. You got to turn the tide a little bit, man. You know, that's the hardest thing for me right now is I don't like what I see kind of like, you know, I don't want to get wrapped up like in individual pitches and individual at bats. And listen, batting in Major League Baseball is the hardest thing to do. You do your job 3 out of 10 times, you're a Hall of Famer. You bat 300 in your career, probably going to the Hall of Fame. It's the hardest thing, but it's just some of the approach things, some situational type things. And I don't want to get all alarmist. I feel like the Guardians have lost their identity for the moment. And the thing is, for a long time, our identity was pitching. This year, the pitching has been solid, but your identity was your offense. You were one of the best teams in baseball. For run differential, you were averaging a home run a game. Those seem like there was months ago. You have lost your offensive identity as the Guardians. And when that actually then became the identity of your team, well, that's why we're in this flux. That's why we're in this identity crisis at the moment. And the bats they got to get hot. And there's no more excuses, right? You're playing at home. The weather's good. What's going on? Okay, you're facing good pitching. And that was what Stephen Vogt said. You threw up 7 runs on that Friday game against the Padres. You've had squadouche since. And Vogt keeps saying, well, we've run into good starting pitching. Hey, Stephen, guess what you're going to run into in the playoffs? Really good starting pitching. I'm sorry that I hold this team in higher regard where I want them to score some runs off Tyreek Skubal. I want them to get after Jack Flaherty tonight. Sorry. Let's get one, and especially if you can just smoke them tonight, maybe I'll feel a little bit better tomorrow. That's the other thing, Ryan. I don't think a win or two makes me feel better. I need like a win. I need a week worth of wins to start turning the tide for me a little bit here, but get after it. I'm still the optimist. Gonna pick them in our boost. We'll make our boost up a little bit later in the show. Hit a nice one last night. Let's go 2 for 2 here tonight.
Alrighty, well, it seems inevitable, Matt, but the NFL and NFLPA have started high-level discussions about potentially implementing an 18-game regular season. NFLPA Executive Director Lloyd Howell left the door open that an agreement could be reached before the current CBA expires.
Didn't we have fake money in here at some point?
I think it's in the other studio.
Damn. I was just going to throw up some bill. How much cash do you have in your wallet right now? I have 2 singles, a 20, and a 5. I have $27.
I have 0 cash in my wallet.
I have $27. We live in a cashless society.
I have 0 cash in my wallet.
Put that back in my wallet.
Give that to Amari Cooper.
Spare change.
Spare change.
Some of the stuff on SpongeBob, not really appropriate for the kid. Like, Squidward was homeless, man. Spare change? No, that's it. That it's money. That's it. And I know the PA needs to posture to act like they don't want to add the 18th game, because what's the NFL PA going to say? How dare you? We gave you 17 games and you want more? In reality, they're like, yeah, we don't really care. Because this is eventually what it's going to be. It'll be a 2-game. I don't think you will ever eliminate the preseason. I don't think the players want to get rid of that. I don't think the coaches want to get rid of that. I actually don't think the NFL wants to get rid of that. So they owed 20 games to all these networks, right, as far as what they're going to play. A 2-18. That's it. 2 preseason games. You will have your joint practices to kind of supplement that a little bit. Your starters will play. And then even, oh God, was it Joe Burrow's? Everybody's got the schedule. It's perfect. You bump the Super Bowl back. You play it on President's Day weekend. Everybody gets Monday off. I'm shocked. I'm literally shocked, Ryan, that it's even this much of a fight. The fact that it's even this much resistance. But the PA is fighting. The question is, what does the PA want? What do NFL players, what do they want? I would say number one, now that marijuana is basically off the list, like they still test for it, but the limits are so high, it's basically not a problem. Less practice is probably a number one. And the coaches will bitch because that's not good for them. But again, the practices have to be a means to an end of getting guys healthy for the games on Sunday, right? You can't have padded, they limited the padded practices now. And I think it is all helping the NFL. Can I diverge for just a second on that? Do you think the product of the NFL has gone down with less practices? When you watch games, does it look like teams that don't practice all that well?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
And it's just me being the casual fan, being a Browns fan, less practices, and I have no noticeable difference in the play on the field. It's a win-win for everybody. And I'm sure coaches would never tell you that, right? Like, nah, man, if we would have just had that one more practice, we would have completed that pass, or one more rep, we'd have been a little sharper here. You just got to do it smarter now. Because what do I want on Sunday? I want all my players healthy from a betting fantasy standpoint, and I want good football. Okay. Less practice is the easy answer. So if less practice still makes me happy as a fan, makes the players happy, and gets me an 18th game, what are we waiting for? Do it. That's got to be the biggest bargaining chip. Then second will be the money. They're going to want less practice, and they're going to want the salary cap to keep jumping up. Now, the thing is, the money going up is all relative. Is Jordan Hicks getting a piece of that pie? Potential starting linebacker for the Cleveland Browns. Be like, who the fuck's Jordan Hicks? He's going to be your starting linebacker this year. No, that money is going to Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper, Jamar Chase. It's all relative, but the more money in the pot, the more that helps all the rest of the players. The expansion of the practice squad and allowing veterans to hang on and still make some money. All of those things have got to be on the table, and I think the NFL is coming with real solutions of trying to get this 18th game done. I guess it's happening. It's inevitable, and I want it to work for all the sides because I just want more football. Dude, we're Americans. We're drunk on football. Do you get excited when the Cavs start training camp? You get excited when the Guardians start spring training, but today is almost like a borderline holiday. It's exciting, man. Football is back. You watch preseason games. You go down there. You get geared up. I already got, I was with my family this weekend. My brother and I were talking. He goes, dude, I already picked out my game. His buddy has season tickets. So they always pick one game to go with, just the boys. And he's like, dude, we're going this week. I think, I'm excited about that. We're ready to go, man. We love football in this town. More games. I'm all for it. I guess I just wonder what the hang up is going to be.
Do you have a day that isn't like you mentioned, it isn't a real holiday, but it's your favorite day of the year?
Thursday for Masters Week, maybe Sunday for Masters Week, but it's different because it's on Memorial Day weekend. But the Indy 500 was always a big day with my family because my dad's a big fan, so we go home and watch the race with him. But yeah, to your point, honestly, some of my most fond memories of being a fan are preseason games because they're night games. They're just cool. It's so warm out. I just love it, man. And we'll get to the big play drinking game with our friends at Garage Beer. We didn't do it last year. I told you what it was all about. We didn't do it last year. We just missed it. I'm excited for it. But, yeah, again, Lloyd Howell saying the door is open. The door is more than open, man. You just got to come together. Ari Medvedev posted this on Washington Post. I don't have a subscription. And also, I'm not one of these people like, oh, my God, a paywall. You have a paywall up. I don't pay. I'm just going to close the article and move on to something else. Like, I was just going to see what insight there might be. I don't know if you have any over there. Like, what what are the negotiations going to be? You know, they're going to start with practices. All right, here. This is the ESPN article. Indulge me for a second if you don't mind.
Is it the one from the Washington Post?
No, this is the ESPN article, so I can read the whole thing. NFL Players Association and the NFL have discussions at a very high level over potentially at an 18th regular season game. NFLPA Executive Director Lloyd Howell told the Washington Post. Howell told the Post that the talks between the PA and the league have not reached the stage of formal negotiations, but acknowledged that he plans to discuss the issue with the players in the near future. He says, we have talked at very, 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 that's 3 varies. That's pretty important. Very, very, very high level, superficially. That's an oxymoron. Because if it's a very high level, how's it still just superficial? But whatever. With a recognition about, this is something we should talk about. Is it? Oh my God. Okay. You're the director of the NFL Players Association with a league that is worth billions of dollars, and you go, this is something we should probably talk about. How is that your statement? You know, we should probably, I don't know, at some point discuss this. Okay, fine. We should really kick the tires and understand what else goes into this decision-making process, says Lloyd Howell. Where does the 18th game come from? That's interesting. I think it's a foregone conclusion. Well, you just grab it from preseason games in August and you play it on forward. Commissioner Roger Goodell said earlier this year he favored the 18-game season, lengthening the schedule that would culminate in the President's Day weekend around the Super Bowl. Howell said the NFLPA would be open to potentially adding the 18th game before the league's collective bargaining agreement expires in 2030. So that's important, right? If they were going to wait until the new CBA expires, you wouldn't get this until 2031. I will put my house on it that that's not happening. You're going to get that 18th game, I think, in 2026. Because here's what I'm thinking. They're going to hammer out, they're going to hit the negotiations hard now. They will say the 2025 schedule will remain unchanged. 2026, we're getting after this 18-game schedule. What do you think? So I always liked the 16-game schedule because it was nice and easy to divide up. You played one entire AFC division. You played one entire NFC division. You played your division games, and then you would play the other 2 teams that finished in your position within their AFC conference, or AFC division, and you play it out. Now, the 17 game, you just add the team that finished in your spot in the NFC, and you bring them on over, and you play them. What do we do now? Do you add another AFC game? Because that would be my vote, because that's important for wild card AFC playoff pictures. You get what I'm saying? So let's okay. I'm going to pull up the Browns schedule right now. Browns 2024 schedule. So this is how it breaks down for this season. We are playing all of the NFC East, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Cowboys, Giants, all of that. Then we play all of the AFC West.
Yes.
Then our carryover team.
Dolphins, Saints, and...
The Saints are your NFC carryover team. Then the team that finished in your position within their...
Yeah, the Dolphins.
The Dolphins and... Oh, that's preseason. I got screwed up for a second. Sorry. The Dolphins and... Well, then it would have had to have been the AFC South. Who finished in our spot in the AFC South?
The Jags.
Jags. You're right.
No,
Jags.
no. Colts. Colts finished second because they made the playoffs. No, they didn't.
No.
Jags.
You're right. It's the Jags because we
It's
play them week 2. That's right. That's the only AFC South team we play.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so here's what I'm trying to get to, right? You play nobody in the AFC West because we're playing all of them.
Right.
You don't have to play the Jags because they were in our spot. And then AFC East.
the Dolphins.
The Dolphins. So then pick me
The Jets.
the Jets, the Bills, anybody else in the AFC, the Texans, something like that. And that's how you would play it out. That's what I would add. And on top of the NFC carryover game. I do think it should be an AFC team, though, because it just adds more drama for how things divide out for wild card, AFC, all that kind of stuff. Now, okay, let me ask you all these other questions, rapid fire. 18-game schedule. Do you add another playoff team?
No.
Okay, I kind of agree with you.
No.
I like the playoffs with where you're at.
2 buys.
Yeah.
No, don't add. No, you cannot add another playoff team.
Do you add something about that game being home and well, I guess now you got 9 and 9. If you play 18, you have 9 home games, 9 away games. I would have liked some sort of incentive to get the extra. Right now how we have the odd home and away and you just flip. What if there was an incentive for that? What if you made the playoffs, you somehow get that? Well,
I don't think they could do that.
I don't think they could do that because you're playing another team that probably also made the playoffs. Okay. Do you add the second bye? You have to, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you have to.
There's no way the NFLPA agrees with
Yeah,
that.
they have to.
No way.
They have to.
Oh, no way.
I think the framework's there, man. Call Ryan and I. We'll come negotiate this thing for you. We'll get it figured out.
Alrighty, last year, we're a little bit behind, but I want to bring this up on the morning update. Matt, I don't know if you saw this article yet. American rapper Snoop Dogg
I did.
will be among the torchbearers carrying the Olympic flame in the final stretch. And I also didn't know this. The identity of the person who will light the Olympic cauldron on the night of the opening ceremony is a secret with less than a dozen people in the know.
They probably
imagine being in the know for that.
Well, it's got to be somebody from France.
Or France.
I keep saying Paris, France. Yeah, the same thing. So, I don't know. You know what I mean? Think of I was trying to think of a famous French athlete.
Kylian Mbappe?
Is that
French?
a soccer player? Yeah, maybe it's him. I don't know. By the way, are all the soccer players not playing in this or
this
something?
might be really dumb. Is Djokovic from France?
No, he's from Serbia.
Serbia.
Yeah, I like that because it adds a little. I keep forgetting that it's this Friday. Opening ceremonies are on Friday. I thought they were a week from Friday, so they're this Friday. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and that journey of the flame where they light it still in Greece, and then it makes its way to wherever it's at. I love the Olympics. I got signed up for Peacock because I'm all excited. I can just watch everything now. It's cool, and it's that thing that, do I know anything about running a triathlon? No. Am I going to sit down and watch the triathletes? You're damn right I am. Plus all the niche sports. Is ping pong still in this?
I don't know.
Summer Olympic sport list.
Wouldn't that be winter?
It's probably winter. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Here's the sports. Archery. Yeah, tell me you don't want to watch
sick.
archery.
Yeah,
Everybody
archery's
does.
pretty
Everybody
sick.
does.
Archery's sick.
Artistic gymnastics. Oh, what about
breakdancing?
Is that what that is?
It's basic. No,
it's a little different.
Well, there's one that is. I don't think it's called that, but there's one that's new and it's basically breakdancing.
Artistic swimming. That's got to be synchronized swimming.
Yeah.
Fencing. Again, I know jack squat about fencing.
But if two dudes got swords,
I'm gonna
I'm
watch
watching.
it though.
If two
You're
dudes
damn
got
right.
Swords, I'm watching.
Sailing, shooting, skateboarding, squash, hockey, handball, judo, karate, cricket, BMX, freestyle, and racing, and mountain biking. Equestrian, weightlifting. I always love watching the weightlifting too. Trampoline, tennis, taekwondo, table tennis.
Oh.
Table tennis. Here we go. That stuff is nuts. You got men's single, women's team, men's team, and mixed doubles. Table tennis. Do you want a table tennis preview?
Sure.
A new champion will be crowned. Over 170 athletes will compete in the duration of the Olympics in table tennis. The People's Republic of China traditionally dominate the sport, yet there's genuine hope for a home medalist for France. Stars to watch. The men's defending champion Ma Long is only entered in the team event this year, so they will have a brand new men's champion. But the world's number 2 and 1, respectively, from China are on top of the list to succeed him. How to watch it, man? I'm in. Hell yeah. And that's the other thing, not to pitch Peacock again. You can go on the app and just click the sports you want to watch, and it'll like it'll populate for you.
Yeah.
You're damn right. I'm clicking on table tennis. Let's go. All right. Speaking of let's go. What if the grid was an Olympic sport?
We didn't get it yesterday.
No, I know.
We would not be in the Olympics if this was a Olympic sport, man.
Oh, we got the Browns today. That's nice. We got to also, I'm putting the cart before the horse here. We got to think of our next giveaway.
Yeah, let's get 5 out of 5.
I don't know. Yeah, we got to get 5 out of 5, but like it's nice to have the giveaway ready. So congratulations, Schmitty won our NCAA copy.
Yes.
I thought about doing. I don't know, video games get tough. It's $60 a pop, but we'll figure that out. Let's get 5 for 5. Maybe we'll go there. All right, you know how it works. Up and down, left and right. Brown should be in there. We have no reason to not get this today. Go.
All right. We could go Steve Smith.
Yeah, sure.
Did he play for the Packers?
I don't think so, but I can't think of any other 1,000-yard receiver for.
Probably DJ Moore, but.
Oh yeah, probably DJ Moore.
Allen Robinson.
Probably.
I would think he has 1,000.
Well, I was just going to go back to, oh my God, who is that receiver? Jimmy Smith? Was he the corner? There's a receiver back with like Brunell and them with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I can't think of who it is, but yeah, just go Allen Robinson. Are you sure you want to hold off?
Here's the thing. I know there was a season where he had like 16 touchdowns, but I don't know if he got 1,000 yards. But I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Calvin Ridley, but I don't think he was only there the year.
So does it have to be on that team?
What about Alan Hearns? Go Allen Robinson. I can't think of anybody else, so we might as well just rip it. All right, that's fine. Good job. Saints.
Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas is fine, yeah. All right, let's rip out the Browns. Baker.
Paul Krug? No,
I think Paul. I think that screwed us up last time.
because it was Paul Peluzny.
Because yeah, that's right. And Alex Mack signed an offer sheet with Jacksonville, but he never played there.
We can just do Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Demario Davis.
Yeah. Man, he turned in such a good career. He has turned in such a good career there. All right.
This is where it gets dicey.
Well, Packers Jags. Dude.
Did Randall Cobb ever play for the Saints?
I don't think so. You know what? I think. Are you thinking of him on the Pack or on the Cowboys?
I don't know.
It sounds right, but I don't know.
Jamal Williams.
Are you sure? He played in Green Bay?
I'm pretty sure.
All right, go rip it. That's fine.
No, now I'm scared.
No, good. Just rip it. I think you're right. You were thinking of Detroit.
Wait, no, that's not the right one. That's not the right Jamal Williams.
Oh.
That was why. That wasn't the right.
Well, click it and see if it actually works. All right.
That's bull crap.
Give us that one.
Okay.
You got to give us that one. There is something Packers, Jacksonville, Mark Brunell. Such a dumbass.
Like, so you know that 100%?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so then we won't fill that out.
Don't click on that.
Right. Let's now, if we get the Green Bay Panthers when we get it.
Right.
Because that Jamal Williams.
Let me search Mark
That
Brunell.
Jamal Williams was horse crap.
Yes, Mark Brunell is the one that was just like.
So we're still 100%.
Slapping me in the head. Right. That's
yeah.
With technicality here. All right. Packers, Panthers here.
All right.
Jimmy Graham never played for Carolina.
Greg Olsen never played for Green Bay.
Ted Bridgewater never went to Green Bay.
Don't believe so.
We got to remember him in this thing. I don't think Jake Delhomme ever played in Green Bay. Andy Dalton never went to Green Bay. I don't think we're going to get anything with the quarterbacks. We need to get off the quarterbacks here.
Mason Crosby never played in Carolina.
No. I don't think D'Angelo Williams ever went to Green Bay. Jonathan Stewart, no. Oh.
Wait, is it a really easy one?
Yeah.
What position?
Defensive end. Hall of Famer.
Oh, so he's the older?
Yeah, Julius Peppers.
Oh, like
Julius Peppers. Bing.
All right. Yeah, it was the most popular. Jarvis Landry was the most popular. Saints Brown.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy Graham.
You were right, Jimmy.
Brunell actually, that's fine, because Brunell actually worked for Green Bay and the Saints, too.
No, but you were right, though, Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, I thought I always used to get him confused with some cornerback, but I remember Jimmy Smith with those old school Jags logo, the old school Jags uniforms that they had when they were in the early 2000s, and those were sharp.
Yeah.
Those were good, man. That was fun. All right, good stuff on the grid. Doesn't mean much because we already screwed this week up, but that's all right. All right, we come back. We'll dive into timeout. We already talked a lot of timeout on the big day for the Guardians a couple years ago. A few other things to get into with that. We'll get our wages for the Guardians. Going to go for 2 in a row tonight on our boost, on our parlay, I should say. So we'll get to that when we return. Fontana Show right here on Big Play.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yep.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky Derby.
All right, jump into it. A little bit of timeout. Obviously, a big part of our show has dealt with timeout because we go back, Ryan, this day, 2021. The Guardians officially announced their name change, going from the Indians to the Guardians. Talked to Paul Dolan that day. He said the Guardians' name was going up over the scoreboard. And we're asking a lot of people today, 3 years in, how do you feel about it? We had a lot. People are still tweeting at me, man, about it. I get it. Buried Bodie Bottle says, great then, great now. Bo says, it's worse. It's like some other team is playing in the Indians ballpark. I have zero connection with the statues. I had 60 years of loyalty built into the Indians. All right, that's Bo. Daniel says it's actually grown on him. So there's a few that we have. Like a lot of people say they liked it then, they like it now. But he says it's grown on him. The marathon Greg on Twitter is still not used to saying it 3 years later. I mean, I think we all dude, I listened I watch every game that I can, but I'll listen to Hammy and Rosie a lot when if I'm working or if I'm putting the kids to sleep or something. And Hammy slips too. And again, Hammy been doing that for 20 odd some years. Not that easy to flip. Anthony on Twitter just says meh. Sorry. Mike says we got to do Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid for the heist movie. I didn't know if that was a heist movie or not. Gonna throw that in there as our final one. Write that down.
Never heard of it.
Man and Junior says I still hate it. So I mean, what's our poll this morning for everybody? We did an easy, succinct. Do you like it? The Guardians?
72.5 no, 27.5 yes.
Yeah. I mean, I just. It's still just the logo for me. The name is fine. I don't.
Bozo on Twitter.
Yeah.
Lost me as a fan after 60 years of being a diehard Indians fan. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
If it's between changing the name or losing the team, we all very much would change the name. I get it. They're not coming to steal your stuff. They're not coming to take all your T-shirts away. But I would say 3 years in for that still to be the result. And the other thing, you got to remember about the next generation. Like, there's a generation of kids that will only ever know them as the Guardians, right? And all they'll have is the stories from us telling them about what it used to be. I mean, it is what it is, but that happened this day, 2021. This day, 2018, Josh Gordon announced that he will miss the start of training camp to focus on his mental health. Dude, I forget that he was still on this team with Hugh Jackson and Baker Mayfield. Yeah. Now, he left. He never played in the regular season with us. But, man, did we hold on to Josh Gordon as long as we could. And it's just sad that he never really had the career that he probably envisioned, that we all envisioned for him. You know, it is what it is. This day, 2017, Corey Kluber set the Indians record at the time with 10 straight games with at least 8 strikeouts. The MLB record is now 18. Ryan, I will ask you, who do you think holds that record for the Major League 18 straight games with at least 8 strikeouts?
For the Guards?
No, Major League.
Oh,
record.
Major League, okay.
But it is a Guardian.
It is a Guardian.
Yeah.
Bieber.
It's got to be Shane
Yeah,
Bieber.
I was
It
gonna
is.
say, if it's
It's Shane Bieber. MLB record, straight games with 8 strikeouts. Oh, no, that's 8 consecutive. That's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, so there it is. Shane Bieber set an MLB record with his 18th consecutive start back in 2021 with at least 8 strikeouts. It's pretty damn good. Brian Rocchio was going for that record just on the other side of it. Golden sombrero last night, buddy. 4, get out of here. This was more for the Jackets fans out there, but the end of an era. They traded Rick Nash to the Rangers this day, 2012. He's the greatest player in Columbus Blue Jackets history. Sent him off. Couldn't do much. It is what it is. I don't usually like doing deaths, but it's ones that you remember kind of where you were at when you got the news. Amy Winehouse was found this day, 2011, passed away. Her, Heath Ledger, Paul Walker. You want to know the weird thing about Paul Walker? I think it was the Friday after Thanksgiving, and I'm sitting at my in-laws' house, and like it scrolls across. I mean, Kobe, obviously, that was massive.
Yeah.
But I remember.
I think Kobe, for me, is the biggest one in my lifetime. Because, right, the guys you just mentioned, I was a little bit younger, wasn't paying attention much.
Yeah.
And Michael Jackson, I didn't really.
Sure, yeah.
Kobe's definitely the one.
Kobe was one. My wife and I were sitting there enjoying brunch, and it was just like, oh my God. Yeah, Paul Walker was big. And then, honestly, the Trump thing. I remember we took my kids to the beach, and we were sitting there at Huntington Beach, and I checked my phone. I go, somebody just shot at Trump. I'm like, oh my God.
That was crazy.
It's crazy. Like that kind of stuff, man. It's just the things that you're in your life. I remember I was out with 9/11. Obviously, you were too young for that. My teacher got in trouble for that. So I was in 7th grade science class. I want to say like 2nd period. And another teacher came into my science class and whispered something to my teacher. She told all of us, get up right now and go to this other classroom that had a TV in it. We all walked in as the second plane hit.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then the rest of the day, every class had less and less kids because everybody was coming to pick their kids up.
Oh, yeah.
For the day. I remember getting home and I was like, Mom, what the hell? And she goes, you really think they were going to come after Brunswick, Ohio? And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. But she gave us bottled water. She goes, I don't want you guys drinking any, she thought that was going to be like the next thing. You never know. But yeah, those moments in your life, man, you just never forget where you were at. This day, 2000, at just 24 years old, Tiger Woods won the British Open to already complete his career Grand Slam. At 24, he had already won every major in golf.
How many golfers have done that?
The career Grand Slam? Great question. Jack obviously has.
Has Phil?
No, because he's never won the U.S. Open. People think he's cursed about winning the U.S. Open. Rory hasn't because he hasn't won the Masters yet. So there's only 5 guys that have done it. Jack, Tiger, Ben Hogan.
Did Arnold?
Gary Player, Gene Sarazen. Arnold never won. I don't think he ever won the... Hang on, I'm just going to look it up here. Hang on.
Xander's halfway there.
He is. I was going to say the PGA Championship. That was what my gut said because I know he won the U.S. Open. I know he won the British Open. Arnold never won the PGA Championship.
Okay.
Here, actually, you want to know what? Stand by. Men's Major Golf Championships. Here we go. There's a full list that's really nice and easy to do. Major Championship winners. Stand by. Here we go. All right, here's the list that I'm looking at. Jack's got it all. Okay, like Walter Hagen has 11, but he never won the Masters. Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Tom Watson never won the PGA. Bobby Jones never won the Masters or the PGA. I mentioned Gene Sarazen. Sam Snead won 7 majors. He never won the U.S. Open. Nick Faldo never won the U.S. Open or the PGA. Phil, as I mentioned, never has won the U.S. Open. As far as guys that are going, Brooks Koepka has only won the PGA and the U.S. Open. He needs the British and the Masters. Ernie Els never won the PGA or the Masters. Rory just needs the Masters. And that's about it. Oh, actually, you want to know what? Jordan Spieth just needs to win the PGA because he won the U.S. Open and the Masters. He won the British. He only needs, but he's only got 3. So here's the thing. He's only got 3, but he's got 3 different ones. And then what about Dustin Johnson? I guess he's only got the Masters and the U.S. Open, right? Yeah, that's it. So Tiger did that at 24. Guys chase that their whole lives. That's absolutely insane. Speaking of, this day 1995, John Daly won the British Open by 4 strokes. This day 1976, the final ever NFL All-Star game was held in Chicago. I guess what they do, they would take the champion and then they would play an NFL All-Star team. The Steelers won 24-0 against the NFL All-Stars. Go back to that. Just pick you imagine the Chiefs playing Justin Jefferson, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett.
They get smacked.
Oh, they would never do that, but it'd just be a lot of fun. This day, 1962, Bob Feller was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame as one of the best ever. This is an interesting one. This day, 1960, Ted Williams, one of the greatest hitters to ever play the game. Up at bat, Indian center fielder Jimmy Pearsall breaks into dance in center field as trying to distract Ted Williams while he was hitting. He and Joe Gordon, the manager of the Indians, were both ejected, but they would win the game for it. So could you imagine, Shohei's up to bat and Tyler Freeman's in center field, just dancing, trying to get him.
The got ejected for that?
Yeah. He was dancing. He was trying to distract Ted Williams. You can't do that.
Why not?
You can't do that. That's why the batter's eye. That's why there's never any fans behind the pitcher. You can get somebody killed.
What?
If they're not paying attention to imagine I'm throwing you a pitch.
Okay.
But over top of your hand, you see somebody wave. That pitch starts coming at your head. You're distracted.
Don't care. Lock in at the plate.
Oh, okay. It's never that. I don't think it's quite that easy. But yeah, could you imagine Shohei's up to a bat and Angel Martinez is in center field, dancing around trying to do something?
Don't care. You're in the batter's box. Lock in.
Can't do it. This day, 1903, the Ford Motor Company sold its first ever car, a Model A. Look at where we're at today. Very happy birthday goes out to the glove, Gary Payton. Nomar Garcia Parra. You ever seen when he does his pregame? You never seen Nomar do his thing?
No.
He had. I'm assuming it was a tick. Google it quick. Every time that he would come to a bat, he would rest the bat on his shoulder. He'd go like this to check all of his wristbands, flip the bat to the other side, flip it back, and then he was ready to bat. Every time. He'd have a heart attack in the pitch clock era.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, He had a tick. I don't know what it is, but happy birthday to him. Former Browns safety Johnson Batamosi, Bryn Forbes, DeAndre Ayton, Daniel Radcliffe, Monica Lewinsky, Philip Seymour Hoffman, R.I.P. Slash. By the way, I saw that bad news from Slash about his daughter. That sucks. Woody Harrelson, Catherine Hahn, and have you ever eaten at Arthur Treacher's?
No.
It's birthday today. So Arthur Treacher's was like a fast food seafood place. So like if you were really craving like popcorn shrimp, you go to Arthur Treacher's. I don't think there's any left. There was one in Parma that was like it's almost like Blockbuster now. You know, there's one Blockbuster left in the entire world or whatever.
Oregon.
Yeah, I think there was like one Arthur Treacher's left, and unfortunately, I think it might have closed. Stand by. Arthur Treacher's is an American fast food seafood restaurant former chain. At the peak of its popularity in the late 70s, it had 826 stores. However, as of March of 2023, there were only 3 standalone Arthur Treacher locations left. Now there's only 2. I think the one in Parma's got to be one. I think. Here it is. Here it is. The last remaining standalone Arthur Treacher's is in Cuyahoga Falls. The Twin Oaks convenience store in Pomeroy, Ohio, also maintains as an attached Arthur Treacher's franchise, sharing kitchen space with a pizza place. And then in February 2023, the restaurant on Rockside Road in Garfield Heights, not Parma, Garfield Heights, reopened just in time for Lenten season. So that was Arthur Treacher's for you. Now I want some popcorn shrimp. Movies for you. Actually, one movie, one TV show. We go back to a satirical television show that debuted this day, 2003. There's a reboot coming of this TV show. It was on Comedy Central. And again, it was meant as satire for one of the most popular reality television shows in history.
It's a reality show, or it was a parody of a reality show?
The show that they're parroting was a long-running reality show. And it's not like it was people that were on a show that you'd pit against one another. There was cameras in live action of this particular line of work. I think I'm explaining this great. I'm trying not to lay it up here for you. But if I started singing bad boys, what you gonna do?
Right. Cops.
Correct. This show was a giant parody of the show Cops.
2003.
Correct. I don't know. You might not get it then. I don't know. New Boot Goofin'?
Never even heard of it.
No, that's a line from the movie. That's a line from the show. Dangle. Lieutenant Dangle.
Is that the I think like Tacoma Fire Department.
Kind of like that, but not.
Like Chips? Isn't that the movie?
That was a legit TV show, not this. You might not get it.
I don't think I'm gonna get it.
Lieutenant Jem Dangle, Trudy Weigel, Deputy Jones, Garcia, Clementine Johnson, Travis Jr. Have you ever watched Reno 911?
No.
It jumped the shark for me eventually. Like, I used to love that show. And the parody was like every cop. Like, there's one, they pull people over and like instead of walking a line, Clementine had them do like a dance routine. Okay. And like Dangle, the one
Reno 911.
Reno 911. Weigel got a boyfriend that ended up being a serial killer.
Yeah.
And they a few episodes was them trying to prove that he was the ineptitude of the cops. Like it was funny, and eventually they brought Jeff Foxworthy. Well, these were funny episodes. Jeff Foxworthy showed up as an outlaw street racer, and they spent a couple episodes trying to chase him. God, what was his name? Jeff Foxworthy, Reno 911. Fast Eddie McClintock. That was it. Fast Eddie McClintock. Yes, that was him. And he's jumping his car. It's an all right show. I don't know if I'd go back and watch it, but again, there's a reboot coming back out for it because they got all the original actors to come back and do it. It was all right. It wasn't too bad. All right, and then a movie, this day, 1993. This is a movie that started as an SNL skit and eventually became a featured film. So there's a list of those movies. It's not Night at the Roxbury. It's not the Blues Brothers. But it surrounds a family who's not from around here.
Is that like the Coneheads?
The Coneheads are correct.
Wow, I can't believe I got that.
Dan Aykroyd, Jane Curtin. Chris Farley plays the boyfriend, Ronnie. Yes, Coneheads, which always, I know is meant to be funny. They scared the hell out of me when I was a kid.
Creepy.
They scared the hell out of me.
Dude, there's some creepy stuff for kids. Like, have you ever seen Fanboy and, or not Fanboy and Chum Chum? What is it? It's like a Mr. Meaty.
No.
Look up Mr. Meaty and
bro, can I tell you?
Just look it up and tell me if you would let your kid watch that show.
You want to know where we're at in the Fontana household? So my kids are 3 and 1, and we are, we're we like my wife and I. We grew up with TV, right? And I'm not saying it's good or bad, and it all kind of depends. But there's some developmental programs, right, that they can watch, and it helps with counting and colors and spelling and all that kind of crap. So my son loves Bob the Builder, and that's not my crap. Bob the Builder's great. So they have a 24-hour channel of Samsung TV. If you ever buy a Samsung TV, it's worth it because they have just their own network of TV shows. So Bob is great because no matter the time of the day, if he wants to sit down and watch an episode of Bob the Builder, sure. And then our daughter, she's only 1. She can. It's funny. She says Bob now. She only has a couple words. She says Bob. She claps. She loves the show. That's not it, man.
Coco Melon.
I'm not blaming my wife.
Is it Coco Melon?
No. She showed him the Teletubbies.
Ah, those are creepy.
He's obsessed.
No.
Every time we sit down, he goes, Dad, can I watch Teletubbies? And I'm like, I would rather you watch almost anything else. Like, seriously. And again, on the surface of it, he wouldn't know anything. It's like he's just watching them play, but they're so creepy.
Yeah, I don't like the Teletubbies.
It's a 24-hour channel, too. So I can never get him on it's not on right now. He's into the Teletubbies, man. And it's, as an adult back watching it,
creepy.
Creepy. Just so, and then there's like all these people that they're satanic things, undertones. Yeah, Teletubbies, Satan. 5 of the strangest Teletubbies conspiracy theories. Number 1, the baby in the sun is actually a demon. The beginning of each episode, the sun rises, and the center of the sun is a baby's face.
I forgot about that.
Some claim to see a demonic vision over the baby's face as it expands. Just for a second, you can see it, and then it goes away. Number 2, the Teletubbies are biogenetically engineered slaves.
Oh, God.
There's no backstory on the creation of the Teletubbies, but they're not in control of their own destiny. A mysterious voice just tells them what to do, from eating to sleeping to jumping down the hole at the end of the episode. Okay? Number 3, Teletubbies are hypnotized. I'm sending this article to my wife. The Teletubbies are hypnotizing your children. Never mind what follows next. The microphones pop out of the ground and chant for time for Teletubbies about a dozen times, which led many parents to boycott the shows because they believed it was an attempt to brainwash their children. Now, that's interesting because on this Samsung TV thing, it plays a sound right before the episode of Bob the Builder starts. My kid comes running. So I go, he's brainwashed on that already. It's like Pavlov's dog. He hears this, right, and then he goes, it's time for Bob. And then Bob the Builder, and he comes running in. So that's it. So they're already hooked on that.
He's conditioned.
He is. Condition's the word. Number 4, there's a strange Teletubbies Harry Potter connection. Both were released in 1997. Look no further than the strange antennas on the heads of Tinky Winky, Dipsy, and Poe. Their 3 symbols, when formed, combined the symbol for the Deathly Hallows, a key element in the Harry Potter universe. Still not convinced? Lala, the yellow Teletubby, has a lightning bolt as their antenna, strangely similar to the lightning bolt that Harry Potter has on his head. Final one. They're giants in real life. This part is actually true. They look cute and tiny on screen, but in real life, they're actually 10-foot tall giants.
Nice.
I need to get him off the Teletubbies, man.
Yeah.
I need to get him off this, man. again, like on the surface, the Teletubbies are somewhere between 6'7" and 7'11" in real life.
They're going to be playing basketball.
How the hell do they do all the skits and stuff then? All those, I don't want to think about it. They're bigger than Barney and Big Bird. Poe is the smallest at 6'6". Tinky Winky was 10 feet tall. Costumes
Can any
weigh
of them
30
play point
pounds.
guard?
What's that?
Can any of them play point guard?
Yeah, I need
Put
a
them on the
wing. I don't
Cavs?
need a guard. I need a wing. Get him in here doing
We need a
that.
6'6" point guard.
I'll take a 7'11" guy. Tinky Winky is not quite as originally suspected, measuring just 7 feet 11 inches.
Just.
Holy God, man. I need to get him off the show. Coneheads and the Teletubbies. All right, speaking of, I don't want to see some weird movies out there, but let's get to it. Our heist movies. Here's our bracket. We've got it filled out. I think pretty solid. Now, I like the little twists that we've thrown in with some of these. I like the Pink Panther getting in there. I like Die Hard getting in. Do not complain about the seating. Just vote as you see. You see the 16. We'll go groups 1 and 2 tonight. I like Inception, but there's something about Point Break.
I'm going
I love
Inception.
Point Break. Group 2, got to go Ocean's 11.
The only one I've seen out of those is Ocean's 11.
Yeah, so probably go with that. So post that at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a file there on Twitter X if you can, and vote on our bracket of the week. Let's get to it. Our bets for the Guardians tonight. Oh, man, I'm not even prepared. Sorry. All right, here we go. Guardians are your favorite tonight. Line has moved already to minus 150. It started at 140 this morning. I've got an over-under of 8.5. Guardians minus a run and a half is plus 160. Ugh, I kind of like that, man. I kind of like that. Detroit strikes out almost 8.5 times per game. In their last 10 games, though, they're on 8. They're on a pace for 8. Do you think Xavier Curry gets me 3? That sounds easy, does it not? Over has hit 5 out of Detroit's last 6 games. They're 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games, 4-1 straight up in their last 5 against the Guardians, and they are 6-1 straight up their last 7 games on the road. But the under has hit 7 out of Detroit's last 10 games at Progressive Field. For the Guardians, 6 out of their last 7 games, the under has hit. They are 10-5 straight up in their last 15 games at home, but just 1-4 straight up in their last 5. All right, give me Xavier Curry. 4 strikeouts. Hang on. Can you get me some Xavier Curry here? Stand by. Where's my pitchers? Oh, they don't have the last 3. Damn it. Why is Jack Flaherty not on this? Is he not pitching tonight?
On ESPN, it did say undecided.
Ooh. All right, we better jump on this now. All right, Xavier Curry. Okay. Sorry, logging in. Here's what we're going to do. Okay. Okay. Give me 2 guys. Do you think Giovanni Urshela gets a hit today?
It seems like it's inevitable.
He always just rakes against us. All right, start there. That's minus 245. I have no Guardians on here, man. Strikeouts. Give me 3 for Xavier Curry. Run line. I'll take the Guardians minus a run and a half. But I'm going to wait for the Guardians lineup, I think, to get some hits here. I kind of like the under for the total, too. What do you think? I guess we don't know who's pitching for them. A lot of unknowns. All right, this is what I'm going to do. This is already a plus 450. Giovanni Urshela, 1 hit. Xavier Curry, 3 or more strikeouts. Guardians minus a run and a half, and I'm going to add a hit for Stephen Kwan when that comes available. He's got to get another one today.
Yeah, at
He
least
just
one.
has to. I'll add that. That'll be our boost for tonight. We'll see what we get you tomorrow. Coming up Tuesday, what do we got? Josh and Maria Cribbs a little bit later today, and Enter the Jungle. James Rapine and crew. We're deep into football, so they got you covered tonight right here on Big Play. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.